Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So for this video, we're going to be checking out a very cool vintage-inspired chronograph from the German manufacturer Hanhart. Now this is a company that's actually celebrating 140 years in the business, and I had the opportunity to meet up with them at the Vancouver Timepiece Show a few months ago. Now on the wrist, we're talking about their 417 ES 1954 reissue of a Flyback Chronograph. And what's nice about this particular watch is that the 39mm case dimension matches the same size as the chronographs that were supplied to the German Air Force back in 1954. And in terms of pricing for this particular model, it comes in at just under 4,000 Canadian dollars on the leather bund strap. And when you consider you're getting a flyback complication on this chronograph, I actually think it's a pretty good value. So why don't we flip perspectives now, and you guys can take a close-up look at the 417 ES 1954 reissue in the studio. Alright, so before getting into the specs for this timepiece, I really want to thank Hanhart for lending in this particular chronograph for the video. I also want to say that when they ship their watches, always comes in this very nice Hanhart leather watch roll that's very high quality and would last you a long time. And the leather strap is also very high quality. It's a bunt calfskin leather, which I'll talk a little bit more about throughout the course of the video. But diving into the specs for this particular 417 ES reissue, as I mentioned, 39mm case diameter, although there is an option for a 42mm variation. In terms of the lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs here, it's fairly compact at 45.5mm. In terms of overall height, it is 13.4mm. That is from the bottom of that screwed-down case back, which, by the way, has an anti-magnetic cage around it to protect the movement from magnetic fields, and then to the top of a slightly boxed sapphire crystal. It does give you that vintage look like it's acrylic, but it is indeed sapphire. And then between the lugs is an even 20mm for the supplied bunt leather strap. Very nice textured calfskin on the top with contrast white stitch. Flipping it over, you have some Hanhart branding. This is a very supple backing as well. One floating keeper and then a brushed Hanhart buckle here, which works very well. And it does taper to about 18mm at the buckle side compared to the 20mm between the lugs here. And here's a quick in-studio shot just to show you how this watch would wear on a 7.5-inch wrist size. And as you can see, very compact. The actual length of this strap is a bit short. I'm on the last pin buckle hole, but you can order different lengths, or you can also spring an extra bit of cash and go for the bracelet option. But very comfortable, stays very well planted on the wrist, and in this configuration only weighs about 89 grams, so suitable for all-day wearing in my personal opinion. You can also swap out the bund strap for various strap options that have a 20mm lug spacing. So let's talk about the dial layout, and before doing that, I'm going to push and start up the chronograph seconds hand that's there. You have a bi-compax design with a Panda dial, so good legibility on the sub-dials. The one on the 9 o'clock is your constant seconds, and then the one closer to the 3 o'clock position is a 30-minute totalizer. So as the running chronograph hand ticks away there every minute, you can track it on that particular sub-dial. Very clean and vintage aesthetic. I really like the choice of the font on the Arabic numerals for each hour marker, especially the 4, which is a little bit squished, and the 6, that's not completely closed off. Very good vintage vibes that it is there. And this chronograph function is actually one of the best at any price point that I felt in terms of engaging the pusher to stop it and to start it. And then because this is a flyback mechanism too, Instead of actually having to stop and then hit the reset each time, if you do want to time something different while the chronograph seconds hand is already running, you can just engage the flyback mechanism here. So it'll just jump right back to the start, which is a really fun feature to have, especially for a watch that's sub $5,000. Now, the movement that's powering this particular flyback chronograph is said to be their caliber AMT 5100M. It's based off of a Sellita AMT manufacturer. It does have a column wheel chronograph, runs at 4 Hertz, and does have hacking and hand winding. In fact, it's a manual wind movement with 58 hours of power reserve, and I do think that helps keep the thickness under 14 millimeters, which is always great to see. If I stop and reset the chronograph, you can set the time via this oversized crown. That does have Hanhart logo that is there. It's a non-screw down crown, but for manual wind movement, I think that makes sense. And you're still getting 100 meters of water resistance. So if you do pull out the crown, it's one click. You can actually hack and stop the constant seconds subdial, and then it's easy to set to any reference point you want. And the size and knurling of the crown make it easy to operate even with gloved hands, something I can't really say the same about for like an Omega Speedmaster. If you look at the very periphery of the dial, you also have your running minute track that is there. I will say, even though you get high contrast with this Panda dial layout, the bordering for the hour markers and the running minute track is not the easiest to read in terms of legibility. That being said, the low light legibility is still pretty good because it has C3 Superluminova on the handset and all of the hour markers, and because you're getting Arabic numerals, getting orientation even in the dark is very easy to do. Now if we move away from the dial, you can see it has a very nice fluted bezel, and this is actually a bi-directional bezel, and it has a red marker at the 12 o'clock position. In terms of overall finishing, I think Hanhart did an excellent job. Some nice polished chamfers that run the length of the case. The mid case itself very nicely brushed, and then you even have high polish where the case back sits. And those lugs do curve down nicely to conform to your wrist. So overall, the finishing, the movement, and the wearing experience for this particular watch is actually very, very impressive. In terms of potential areas for improvement, I do think that the hour markers aren't super legible for this particular Panda variation. And keeping track of the minute totalizer on the 3 o'clock subdial does require you to squint a little bit. My old eyes don't find it super easy to keep track of, but overall, a very compelling package here from Hanhart when you consider the fact that you're getting a flyback functionality on this particular chronograph. It's anti-magnetic to about 16,000 amperes per meter. It's got the anti-shock properties that are there with a nice Sellita manual wind caliber movement inside. And I should also mention that this movement's running about dead on per day when I threw it on my time grapher. But as always, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this particular 417 ES 1954 reissue from Hanhart. Would you consider picking one up? Do leave your feedback in the comment section of this video. So that's going to wrap up this review, and I can't wait to catch you guys in the next video.